today I'm going to do a demonstration of an alignment on a double axle truck. Before making any measurements or adjustments though, first thing you want to do is a pre-alignment inspection. A pre-alignment inspection is to verify that nothing else is wrong with the truck that could mess up the measurements or be the cause of your bad alignment. The pre-alignment inspection consists of a lot of preventative maintenance type things, such as checking tires. Uneven tires can be a good indication that your alignment is bad, or that your pressure in your tires isn't in spec. So when checking the tire tread, measure in 3 different spots to verify the unevenness. Next, check the tire pressure. If the tire pressure is low, refill it to manufacturer's spec and then continue with the inspection. Check the airbags for any leaks or dry rot, and also the shocks for any leaks, which could be indicated by any fluid or oil from the shocks, and rust spots. When checking the U-bolts, they should not be loose. These leaf springs have obviously not been unloaded, and this would throw all measurements and alignments off if we were to set it this way. So to fix this, we'd want to back the truck back up and then roll it into the shop in neutral and let it sit for a bit. But when checking these leaf springs to make sure that they are still serviceable, you want to look at the U-bolts, make sure they're still tight, and check for any damage or rust, and also to check the splay indicator. If the splay indicator has been broken or loose, the leaf springs need to be replaced. Another thing you'd want to check is that your frame is straight and true. A good way of checking this is getting a level and putting it on the frame to verify. If anything on the pre-alignment check was bad or unserviceable, you cannot continue with the alignment. You will have to stop and repair those problems before continuing. Now I've got my lasers set up to start our alignment process. Make sure that these lasers aren't moving around and have stilled before you start your measurements. Also, please make sure that these are level, as it can really mess up your alignment process. I've got the lasers set up on the front axle to check our toe in and toe out. Measure this by using a tape measure to measure the laser crosshairs on the front and rear of the tire. The difference in the measurements will be your toe in or toe out. Normally, most heavy-duty trucks will have about 1/8 of an inch of toe in from factory to help with carrying heavy loads. Next, I'm measuring offset. To measure the offset, use a tape measure and measure from the frame to the outside of the outer tire. Measuring offset tells me how far out the tires are from the frame. If the offset is a little uneven, it's okay as long as the other side of the frame matches. But too much unevenness is bad and could be the cause of why your alignment is off. To measure the thrust angle, I pull the lasers back out and put them on the outside of the intermediate and the rear axle. The thrust angle measurements are taken by measuring from the intermediate axle to the rear in a crisscross type way. This checks the squareness of the 2 axles to one another. Thrust angle measurements are all about checking the squareness of the axles to the frame and making sure that the rear end tracks to the steer axle. By making sure that these 2 axles are square to each other, we can then verify that they'll track to the steer. long as those measurements were all in spec, we can now verify that the rear end will track to the front by measuring from the intermediate axle to the steer axle. Placing the lasers on the outside of both axles, you want to measure in the crisscross way that we used before in the rear. This is the conclusion of our demonstration of a heavy-duty truck alignment. Thanks for watching.